空にそびえる黒金の城スーパーロボットマジンガー Z 無敵の力は僕らのために正義の心をパイルダウン飛ばせ鉄拳ロケットパンチ今だ出すんだプレストファイヤーマジンゴーマジンゴーマジンガー Z山を砕く黒金の城スーパーロボットマジンガー Z 正義の怒りはみんなのために平和の祈り
And here we are with another Mecha Alliance figure review. What's up, everybody? It's Cole, aka Robots Are Art, coming to you this time with the Bandai Soul of Chogokin GX-105. Is this a figure you need, or just another Mazinger? Let's find out. The GX-105 celebrates the 50th anniversary of the first airing of Mazinger Z, and also the release of the GA01 Popey, the first Chogokin that got it all started for many of us. He's got an absolutely anime-accurate sculpt, and diecast in his feet, shins, the front and back of his crotch, and upper torso. He comes to us with new and improved articulation. Let's take a look at that. His head is on a ball joint. His neck is on a ball joint, so he gets good forward and back motion, side to side motion, and of course he looks left and right. And we're going to take a look at the hover piler in a little more detail. It is such a nice touch that they included Koji on this. You see it's fully articulated. You know, this release is less expensive actually than the GX-70 was in 2017. So they do have some nice touches with this. That's one of them. The upper torso twists. The shoulder pulls out for a greater range of motion. You get a full 360 rotation. This is how far the elbow bends. You push it too far, it's going to pop out. Each hand is on a peg with an up-down hinge. They also swivel. Something new on the GX-105 is the waist articulation. It pulls out for side bend, 360-degree swivel. Pretty sweet. And ab crunch and back extension. Let's take a look at what it'll do. There it goes. Back. And my biggest recommendation with this figure, you know what? I think the waist looks kind of wonky. So what I always do is make sure I tuck the front part in. If I'm hitting any type of ab crunch poses, even Obari poses, because it looks kind of silly, so that's what I do. The lower body articulation is improved. The underside of the crotch extends for greater range of motion. No more part swapping. The thighs extend on the metal frame. And let me tell you guys what, I love the metal structure of this figure. It's solid. It reminds me of my metal build Mazingers. There are no ratchets in this guy, but I love the metal structure. It's a home run for me. The legs have 360 swivel. The ankles extend for a great range of motion in the feet. Look at that metal structure. There's a panel at the back of the knee that allows a great range of motion. Check out that deep knee bend. And that awesome metal structure. And all that allows him to hit some pretty sweet poses, like this one. Yeah, it's the one on the box. You know what? I tried to put him in the Iron Man pose and the superhero landing. He will not do it. But the articulation is greatly improved. You know, you see the deep knee bend. You see the crotch extended. You see the midsection tucked in with the deep ab crunch. He looks great from all angles. Lovely figure overall. And he's got rocket punch. Something my diecast figures had as a kid. I love it. You see the flames there that plug back into Mazinger's arm. I've heard this can be fragile. I've had no incident. There's a button that launches Mazinger's rocket punch on the back of his shoulder. You just push that button right there, and it really shoots. It almost took my camera out. Luckily, it did not. He also has a missile he can launch from his belly. And let's take a look at this figure because it really does hit some dynamic poses. You know, I think it looks gorgeous. Overall, the finish and colors are beautiful, bright, and vibrant. I love the die-cast parts. They shine. I did have a few paint issues on mine we'll get into later, but overall, the figure's gorgeous. You know, statuesque. I love the sculpt, and let's take a look at that launch. Boom. There is a part that swaps out in Mazinger's belly, but it's simple. And here he is with the Scrander, looking magnificent, as if Go Nagai himself had created this figure to celebrate the 50th anniversary. You know, it's a gorgeous figure. The only thing I really don't like are the little lines we see at the upper arms, the bicep area of Mazinger due to the rocket punch. I think it takes away from the aesthetic overall. You know, I wish, you know, the rocket punch is a cool touch, but I don't really love those lines that are there. But the Scrander looks pretty cool. Let's get a better look at it right now. From the front, it's a deeper red. When we look at the side and back, it's a lighter shade. It looks sharp. It's an early version of the Scrander, and it suits the figure nicely. Here it is in its alternate mode, and here it is on display. Bandai gives you a piece if you'd like to display it separate from Mazinger. You do not get a base with this SOC release. It's a rather bare bones release. They do give you an alternate pair of hands. If you want the chopping hands, you've got to buy Devilman. Things have been done to keep the costs down on this release. Let's see how it compares to the GX-70. Let's look at the Scranders. There you see the Scrander's a little more robust on the GX-70, a little more attention to detail, more colors. Maybe it's a different version, but that's how the Scranders match up. Here they are, side by side. Which one do you prefer? Let's take a look. You know what? When I first saw the GX-105, I wasn't wild about it. I thought the head looked wonky. I love the streamlined looks of the GX-70. It's an excellent update to a classic. But I went back and I watched some of the original series to get my poses and so forth, and I get it. This thing is absolutely dead on, anime accurate. The look has really grown on me. At first I wasn't sure about it, but I love the look overall. It looks absolutely classic and as it should, so I'm a big fan of the look overall. But that being said, I did run into some QC issues. You see that little paint bubble on the front of the black part of that die cast in the crotch area? You can see clear through to the die cast. That's the way it came to me. I wear gloves and that's what happened. You see a paint blemish that I circled for you guys. And this is unfortunate. This happens on some SOC releases, maybe some that are rushed. It did not happen on my GX-70. When I handle the two, Although the GX-105 has more robust proportions, the GX-70 weighs more. I like the way it feels in hand. It's more slender, and it's just a slight difference, but it's a little heavier. I like the way it feels. I like the high quality feel. The GX-70 also includes things like the iron cutters and a base. So they've left some things out to keep the cost down on the GX-105. Overall, it is a lovely figure, but is it a figure you need or just another Mazinger? That's right, guys. It's the 50th anniversary, so you know I had to get out the whole Mazin fam and see how this GX-105 stacks up to the all-time greats. And we're going to start with the one that got it all started for me. The great Mazinger, Shogun Warrior. Man, so iconic. Wanted it so bad when I was a kid. Saw it in the Troutman's department store. My mother pulled me from the store, kicking and screaming. I didn't get it. Mothers groups complained about the awesome firing missiles and things I wanted so badly, and they took it off the market. I never got it, and it caused a lifelong obsession, let's say. Will the GX-105 do that? Will people be chasing it down in 40 years, 45 years? I don't know. Another all-time great for me we see the Sentinel Mazin Kaiser reissue in my Mazin fam, posed in that Iron Man pose easily, designed in 2017, unbelievable articulation compared to the GX-105. Is it better than the GX-70? The articulation's improved. I like the rocket punch, but honestly I feel the quality's higher on the GX-70, you know. Then we have my all-time favorite, the DX Mazinger Z. They're with Great Mazinger. Those are rare and expensive. Bandai did do things to bring the cost down on this, and you know, there is a lot to like about it for $130. In the back, you see heavy metal Mazinger Zero. That thing weighs over 8 pounds. It's in a league of its own. And Sentinel Shin Mazinger, you know, that figure was over $250 when it released. Bandai really does bring value. You know, in the back, the CCS toys, awesome. Get it if you can. I still feel, even with paint blemishes, the quality on the GX-105 is greater than what you get with King Arts. Things are always falling off of those figures. They drive me a little crazy. They're beautiful. But overall, Bandai quality, even with blemishes, is still higher. With this release, Soul of Chogokin articulation has finally caught up with Super Robot Chogokin. This is something the fans have wanted. And I love the metal build style frame. Excellent. You know, QC-wise, I guess it's similar to their Mazin Kaiser. It has a few issues, but overall, it's a cool figure. Is it a work of art like the future models? You know, you could argue the anime accuracy is absolutely striking. But for me, future models are still superior. They're still unbelievable. So the anime accuracy, yes, it does have a beautiful look of art, but it just doesn't reach the level of a future model for me. So who is this figure good for? You know what? If you have Mazinger fatigue, you don't need this figure. You know, you've probably got enough. The GX-70 is awesome. But if you're someone who's never bought a Mazinger, this is definitely worth having for $130. If you're a younger person maybe who builds kits and stuff and thinks, you know, those Chogokin are so expensive, but I might like to check it out, this is a good one to bring you into our world. It's a cool figure. Is it the greatest Mazinger ever? No. But it has a lot to offer for a cheap price. It brings back the joy of the original Popey toy. Are you that person who buys every Mazinger? You know, I was always that guy who buys every Voltron, and I hate to say it, you know, now I'm the person who buys at least one of every Mazinger. I'm glad I picked this up, you know. When it comes down to it, I love Mazinger. You know, I love Mazinger. It's the first super robot I ever saw was the great Mazinger Jumbo Machinder, you know. So I'm that guy now who buys at least one of every Mazinger release. If that's you, you know, pick it up. Don't miss it. They'll probably go on sale. I know I got the GX-70 for half off at one point, you know, so it's worth grabbing if you buy every Mazinger. It's the 50th anniversary of the first piloted mech. You know, here's to another 50 years. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you enjoyed this, Give it a like, give us a subscribe. There's more to come. Thanks for watching.